Everyone. So happy that you're able to join us today for this webinar. I was part of the team at Capital One who created Ready Set Bank, and so I'm definitely excited to tell you about it and how it can be used with community groups. So first, I just want to go through the agenda for this call. So first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Ready Set Bank is. Then I'll talk about the Ready Set Bank course that we created for use with community partners. I'll talk a little bit about what your role would be if you choose to implement the Ready Set Bank course. We'll look at an example of a lesson plan, and I'll tell you a little bit about how to get started with the course. But first, we have a poll, a question. It's true or false, and Audrey will put that up on the screen, and I'll give you guys a little bit of time to go ahead and answer that.
Okay, 62% have voted. 72% said true. Excuse me, 25% said true and 75% said false.
So the answer is true. Over half of senior citizens, folks that are 65 years old or above, use the internet. And that first became true in 2012. For the first time, folks over 65, over half of them were using the internet. In 2014, that percentage was 59%. But at that same time, adults 18 and over, their internet usage was 86%. So you can see that it's increasing. More and more seniors are getting online, but they still continue to lag behind other individuals and younger folks. And so that's part of what was behind creating Ready Set Bank. So Ready Set Bank is a series of 44 videos created in partnership with Grovo, which is a micro-learning company, as well as a nonprofit called OATS, or Older Adult Technology Services, a nonprofit that empowers older adults to live successful, independent, and more connected lives. As the world becomes focused more on digital and technology, banking has done the same. There are more and more tools and apps that banks are coming out with to help people do their banking remotely. And what we realized was there's a danger of leaving seniors behind. If seniors aren't as comfortable with online banking, if they don't feel as comfortable with technology in general, there was that real concern that they would not be able to take advantage of all of the conveniences and benefits that can come with online banking. And so these 44 videos, they're each about 1 to 2 minutes long, and they combine live action, animation, and screenshots. You can see here on the slide at the bottom, there are a couple of screenshots from the videos. And you can see that we focused on trying to have actors and actresses who were older adults to make sure that seniors would be able to relate to the folks in the videos. And we also focused on diversity. And these videos are tailored specifically to help older adults learn about online banking in a simple and straightforward manner. So we work to avoid jargon and acronyms. We really focus on this being instructional, going step by step, and keeping things at a reasonable pace throughout the course. The videos share the benefits of online banking. They walk through the different steps of how to sign up, how to manage your account, and how to use all the different features. As you can see, there's some more screenshots below just to show some more of the actors and actresses that we have in the videos. I'll also add that while this is sponsored by Capital One, it's not branded as a Capital One tool. So as you watch the videos, you won't see anyone mentioning Capital One. We use screenshots from Capital One's website, but we've removed the name because the idea is that this can be used by anyone who banks anywhere. The idea is really about instruction and teaching and making people feel more comfortable as they're online banking as opposed to really using a specific product. These videos are available at readysetbank.org, all 44 videos. You don't have to do anything to view them. You don't have to sign up. They don't cost anything. I'm not going to show a video during this presentation because I find that often during webinars, videos just do not come across particularly well, but I definitely encourage everyone to just go and take a look so you can get a real sense for what the videos are about and what they entail. And I'll also just add, right now, Ready Set Bank is available in English, but we are working to create this in Spanish as well. So that will be coming in the future. And so that's Ready Set Bank as a tool, but what is the Ready Set Bank course? Well, it's an online and in-person blended learning program, and was really created because we wanted to create a hands-on experience for individuals so that they could really absorb the information and learn in the best way possible. And as I mentioned before, it's focused on seniors, so designed for adults 60 years and older, although I'll add that we're finding that this is really appealing to a wide range of people. We definitely have some younger folks, some folks who wouldn't be classified as senior citizens, who have been watching the courses and have been taking the class and have really been getting some real value out of it. But I'll also say that this is for individuals who have some comfort with technology, but also those who may be not as comfortable, may need a little bit of hand-holding, but we try to make it as straightforward as possible so a wide variety of people can take advantage of the information. And this is also for folks who may already be comfortable with online banking, but some who may be fearful. And we know that people are often concerned about the security of online banking or security of technology in general, which is understandable when you're dealing with someone's money. It makes sense you'd be concerned with that. So it's really there for a wide variety of people. So Ready Set Bank has 6 online modules, and you can see them listed here. And as you can see, each module has a couple, well, more than a couple, has different numbers of video lessons, and they're also supplements. And the supplements are worksheets and added information that can help the individual as they're taking the course, as they're watching the videos, and can help them learn a bit more. So the first module, how this course works, is really kind of introductory. We understand that most people have not used videos to learn before. They've not used this platform. So we wanted to make sure that we have that information for anyone taking it so that they could get the most out of it as possible. I'll also note here that these videos are streaming. They can't be downloaded. So we wanted to make sure that people understood really how to watch them and what they needed to make sure that they got the most out of the course. The second module, the benefits of online banking, we thought it was important to share some of the conveniences, some of the benefits, so people could really understand the full world of online banking. For individuals who have mobility issues, being able to do transfers from home, being able to use remote deposit capture, where you can take a picture of your check with your cell phone and deposit it, offers real convenience. And so we wanted to make sure that we noted that here. The third module is on online banking, safety, and security. We heard a lot about this as we were developing this tool, as we were talking to seniors. Safety and security is a big concern, and so we wanted to make sure that we address that. And so we talk about not only what banks in general are doing to keep people safe, but also what an individual can do to keep him or herself safe while they're online banking. Modules 4, 5, and 6. This is really the meat of the course and meat of the tool. This is a more instructional part, which goes through getting started with online banking, how to set up passwords, how to do transfers, how to do online bill pay. And so as you can see from these modules, there tend to be more video lessons here because this is just very, there's a lot of rich content there that we wanted to cover. And so going back to the supplements, I think I mentioned we have some worksheets in there so individuals can follow along, they can jot down notes. But part of the course is also using a Capital One demo site. Capital One has a website that looks like what you would see if you logged into online banking. But of course, it's a dummy site, so you're not really doing anything as you're clicking buttons, but it allows people to get the feel for online banking without actually having to go into their own account and press buttons where they may be concerned that they're moving their money, they're doing something, they're endangering their funds. So it really enables them to try out the product, to try out the different features of online banking without having to have any real concern there. And we have worksheets that are integrated into that. And so what is the recommended program approach? So one of the things that I really love about Ready Set Bank is that it's flexible. Because there are 44 videos, people can pick and choose how they show them. Because they're short, you can bucket them together. But we did learn that there's really an approach that we feel works best. And we did this partnering with OATS, which is the nonprofit that helped us develop this. They had piloted this Ready Set Bank course earlier in the year during the summer and found that this 10 in-person session course was really the best way to go. And so as you can see, depending on the module, there's different numbers of classes. As you get to the more content-rich modules 5 and 6, there are more classes there to cover that material. And each of those classes, the suggestion is that they would be 1 to 2 hours long. And so I just want to talk a little bit about, in the program, what would you be doing? And first would be introductions and setup. So doing icebreakers, making sure the folks in the class understand the purpose of the session, and getting them set up on computers. So I just talked a little bit about how this course is pretty flexible. One thing I'll say is our recommended approach is to have a device per person, but we're learning from our nonprofit partners who are working on this that they're also having success by showing the videos to a large group all at once. So those individuals don't necessarily have their own iPad or a computer where they're watching it on their own, but they're watching it as a group. And we're finding that that's really great, especially for some organizations that may have some resource or technology constraints. So you want to make sure they're watching the videos. But we're learning that there are a number of ways that that can be done and still be effective. So the instructor is going to make sure they're walking around, that they're answering questions, and that they're available for any concerns that the individuals have. Then you would segue into group discussion and activity. And to me, the discussion is really the best part. I've been able to sit in on some of these classes, and it's really interesting when you hear different stories of people's experience with online banking or why they're interested in learning more about it. And really sharing those stories, I think, adds a lot to the class. And then, of course, at the end of the class, you want to answer questions and also leave time for learners to reflect. I think because these videos are short, people can take the time to really think about what they saw. They're really easy to rewatch, and really giving that time to reflect allows people to let the information sink in a little bit more. So we have another poll, and this one is really about how you guys on the phone work. So really a question about whether you've taught senior citizens using technology. And when I say that, it's really asking you whether or not you've used maybe iPads or tablets or computers while working with senior citizens. And just interested to hear what different ways folks on the phone have been working with individuals.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close off the poll and show the results. So 19% said yes, 38% said I have taught seniors but not using technology, 13% said I have taught classes using technology but not seniors, and 31% said no.
Okay, great. So it sounds like there's real diversity in terms of the way folks on the phone are working with people. And so I asked that question just because I think there is a real importance of knowing your audience, whether it's seniors or a different group, but also knowing the technology and understanding how those things work together. So what's your role? And really this is, if you are the individual who will be teaching this class, what is it that would be expected of you? So one would be leading group discussion. Whoever leads this course needs to be comfortable posing questions, answering questions, using the learner materials, and using discussion starters. And I think the nice thing is within the materials that we provide, there are discussion starters in there. There's definitely a lot of information. So it's not that you would have to come up with all the information yourself, but really being able to facilitate those interactions. So be prepared, and I think it's being prepared with the technology, being prepared to teach whichever type of group you're teaching, but also being prepared really to implement this course. And I think it matters a lot with this sessions because you have these videos. So you will have to watch the videos before the class does. You'll have to go through the learner materials and make sure you understand what's on tap for that day. So you really do have to dedicate some time in advance to prepare for these in-person sessions. And then as I was saying before, being comfortable with technology. Now you don't have to be an engineer, you don't have to be a coder, but understanding how to navigate the videos, the platform. You may have individuals who need help adjusting the volume. You may have some folks that are not accustomed to some of the equipment. We had one organization that we are working with who was able to get iPads for the individuals, but realized they really hadn't worked with tablets before. And so there was some difficulty working with them around inputting information when they had to sign in. The touch screen wasn't always intuitive. And so just being mindful of those type of things as you decide what technology you would use, and making sure that whoever's teaching it is comfortable with that technology, because there may be a little bit of hand-holding that needs to be done. And then finally, have fun. Just making sure that you're keeping it light and enjoyable for everyone. And so teaching materials. And we have quite a few materials here to help anyone who wants to implement this course. So the first being a welcome guide. And that really gives you a high-level introduction and an overview of why Ready Set Bank was created and what it's about. There's a technical guide, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that a little later. But it's a checklist and a guide for instructors to really make sure that you have everything you need from a technological standpoint. There's an instructor guide, and much of what I'm sharing with you today comes from the instructor guide. And so you're already seeing a lot of that, but the instructor guide really helps you structure and schedule your in-person sessions and really gives you everything that you need to know to make sure that your class is a success. And then there's also a learner's guide, and this is actually a guide for the students or attendees of the class. They would be printed out ahead of time, and this is where the supplements I talked about before would come in. This is where you have different worksheets. There's some added information. For instance, there's some information on phishing where there are illegitimate emails that are coming to you but look like they're coming from your bank, ways to spot that, ways to make sure that you are not getting taken advantage of by illegitimate emails. So just a lot of great information there. And I'll also note that all of that will be sent to you after this webinar. The guides, technical instructor, learner's guide, all of that you'll get to see. And so next I want to show you just an example of a lesson plan from the instructor guide. And this is one for the module, The Benefits of Online Banking. And as you can see, it starts out with just a brief description of what the benefits of online banking is about. There's a goal, there are key terms in there. On the right, you can see the materials needed. As I said before, there's flexibility in terms of the way that you want to show the materials, but this is the materials needed based on our recommended course plan, and then also the lesson titles are listed there. And then this next page shows really what you would see if you scrolled if you scroll to the lower half of the page. And so really giving step-by-step how the course would go. So introductions, encouraging groups to do icebreakers, telling you which videos you should be showing. As you can see for number 3, discussion activity, which learner supplements. You'll also see there the last bullet point directs you to the demo, the Capital One online banking demo that I mentioned earlier. So just a lot of information there to help you guide the class. And so if you are interested in teaching this class, you will need to contact our friends at Grovo, Charles and Bridget, who helped us create Ready, Set, Bank. You have to have accounts set up on the Grovo platform. And so they would help you do that. And there's just a little bit of information that you would need to provide to them. So obviously the name of your organization, the email addresses of administrators or instructors, and they'd like an estimate on the number of participants and when you would launch the program. And once you do that, they'll send you instructions on how to get on the platform and how to sign up attendees. And so I mentioned before the technical considerations, and I just wanted to go over these because I do think they're particularly important. And so making sure before you start the class that you're preparing the devices and you're checking the devices you'll be using. So whether it's individuals, each with their own device, or if you're going to be showing the videos on a large screen, making sure that that works properly. And that has to do with the third bullet, check the intranet. We found that some of the organizations who've already started offering the Ready, Set, Bank course have not checked their internet ahead of time and realized that maybe they didn't have enough bandwidth for multiple people streaming these courses at the same time. And so just making sure you're aware of the capabilities before you start the class.